やり手ババアなら欲しがるだろう。
Yo.
しかし下女は知り合いの下女の付き合いで。
I guess she has the right to voice her concerns. Again, speaking of information asymmetry, they don't know. Do you see the power and the importance of information and what happens when there's a gap of information? Fascinating. There's so many different concepts in this episode. It's wild. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a licensed psychotherapist and your favorite yapper. Welcome back. I've been looking forward to every episode. As someone commented, every episode has been peak and peaker, and every episode has been my favorite episodes. But for real though. Assassination Zero, Helixy, and Ginny Chimaru are the founding sponsors here. Thank you so much. Shout out to every single family members and you two folks out there. Sit back and help you enjoy. All right, what is in store for today? Oh, I love that since the get-go, we have this ominous background music. Ooh la la. Hold up. This person has the look of that ominous side glare assassin, which turned out to be Sui Rei. Is this Sui Rei? Similar hair color, similar facial features. I know it seems like a guy, but this isn't Sui Rei, right? Interesting. Because you know what I mean? Because Sui Rei has disguised as guys before, like with that assassin in the bars, with all those assassination attempts, and has the same hair color, similar vibe, similar facial features, similar that chiseled jawline. All right. Oh, Luolan. It's been a while. Haven't seen her in a minute. What's up with this ominous music? Hold up. In the episode about a ghost story, I said that I will keep my eyes peeled about who Shisui really is. That insect maniac, the fanatic, the one person who can match Mamao's obsession in a very, very good way. Because remember, I've witnessed and observed and analyzed about her duality, her chilling, very cold, analytical, intellectual aspects from her storytelling versus her usual goofiness. And I said, who else in the real palace that is that is seemingly middle or upper rank concubine or consorts or personnels, right? Because as I said before, Shisei's never seen working. She's always goofing around, catching insects and so on. And based on Mamao's monologue and analysis, I said that I'm going to keep an eye out for who else is in the royal palace that has green eyes and purple hair. Could it be that Shisei's Luolan? Here's why. Luolan is known as what? A concubine with 1,000 faces. Call a deep callback to season 1, where we talked about the emperor does not like visiting Luolan. Why? Because she's very fashionable. She's a fashionista. And she has so many different stylistic choices. But it's a turnoff for Emperor because he literally says sometimes he does not know who he is visiting. So we've known and it's been established that Luolan has this ability to disguise masterfully to a point that even the Emperor cannot recognize her sometimes. The more I talk, the more I analyze, the more it seems plausible. She's the only one so far I've realized she has green eyes and purple hair. And I haven't seen her in a minute, so I forgot what she looked like in the ghost story episode. But here, the eyes color match, the hair color match. And if she's known as the face, the concubine with 1,000 different faces, it's very plausible that she could also be acting and disguised as a lady in waiting. And again, we've never seen her work. We've never seen her boss. Yeah, but she knows the real palace really well. And even after that ghost story, after she came up to Mama and asked her about her analysis and her perspective about that ghost story, she literally disappeared. What did she run off to? And how did she even know about that gathering place? Because Mama only got there through Yinghua. Yo, is Shisei Luolan? What the heck's going on? Okay, all right. I have my Mama lens on with hyper analytical lens. I guess I'm really yapping straight off the episode. Episode 37, the baths. I guess this is about the bathhouse. 第37话落店 or 汤店. The first literally means, it could mean soup or wet or water. And then the second word means actually like a palace or like a house. So I guess translation, the best or the bathhouse is actually more accurate. Yeah, so the bathhouse is more accurate direct translation than the bath. Anywho, all right.
どうしたのシャオラン。
どっかにいい働き口ないかな。
働き口？
そう、あと半年で高級の年
Oh
金
no
開けるからさ。実家がお金持ちの女官なら縁談が来たりするけど、うちは違うからさ。マオマオ、なんかつてない？
So since the get-go, this episode seems very chill, although the beginning, the opening sequence was hella ominous. Here, like before Mama was about to say what she says in her monologue, Xiaolan has been very cheerful. She loves the tea, actual tea and the gossip tea, and she loves the snacks. We've seen their wonderful, endearing friendship develop over since season 1. But here, we're starting off with her seemingly worried. She's very worrisome. You can see the fear and anxiety and concerns in Xiaolan's eyes. She said that her 6 months term is coming to an end. I feel like this episode is about employment security and survival. Maybe this is going to be another seemingly chill, slow filler-like episode, but not, since we've known and I've learned truly that there's no such thing as a filler episode. And as many viewers pointed out, one's filler episode is another's plot twist. So I agree with that, since I've also talked about that before, and that is definitely the framework I'm viewing this series through. But here, we've never seen Xiaolan actually coming to Mama for a request. She's very chill. She's never pleaded for Mama's help. She's never asked for Mama's connections. So the fact that she's doing that means she's desperate. She's very earnest, and she's really anxious for her survival. Like she said, if she were from a rich family, she would have offers for marriage, but that is not the case. Underneath this seemingly casual conversation and back and forth, what Xiaolan's saying or implying, the underlying sentiment is that, where is my future? Where is my survival? Where do I go? A lowly class such as myself, where do I go from here? Do I have a future?
ばかりしていたシャオランも勉強に励んでいる。高級を出てからもいい仕事に就いてほしい。けど、花町
No, Mama. You're not gonna send her to freaking... Yo. You're not gonna sell her, freaking bring her to a brothel, dude?
若くて器量の良い愛嬌のある娘。何より素直な性格。
What?
やり手ババアなら欲しがるだろう。
Yo.
しかし義女は
Yeah.
最後の最後、どうしてもって時のつてかな。
Mama's self-awareness shines through once again. And oh my gosh, I guess the power of makeup. Freaking Xiaolan looks so different with makeup and disguise and different clothing. And speaking of power of makeup, disguise and clothing, again, Shisho and Luolan. Of course, I could be 100% dead wrong, right? But again, who else has purple hair and green eyes? And who else is known as a concubine of 1,000 different faces? Anyway, I'm just having a lot of intrusive thoughts about that because, yeah, I don't know if you guys saw my neurons firing with that connection, and shout out to the power of caffeine. But Mao is right with her self-awareness that should, and I use the word should very intentionally because think about the word should. Should, I should do this, you should do that. Should implies guilt. Should means there is an arbitrary standard. I should have done this. He should have done that. Should means we fell short of this arbitrary standard. I strongly encourage everyone to eliminate the word should from your vocabulary because we never use the word should in a positive light. And every time we use the word should, we feel bad. We feel guilty. But there is no such thing as arbitrary standard. There is no this one-size-fits-all manual guide, handbook that dictates and influences all of our lives. Everyone is different. Does that make sense? So that's why I use the word should here. Her connection needs to come last. And like I said, like what I just did there, It's a very helpful reframe to replace the word should with I could, I need to, I will, I can versus I should. Because again, anytime we use the word should means we fell short and we feel bad about it. Back here, Mao Mao's love language shines through in addition to her self-awareness. Her, as I talked about jokingly in that waterfall episode with Jin Shi or the Moon Prince, Mao Mao's love language is clinical care. But of course, that's a joke. What is clinical care? Act of service, which is actually one of the 5 languages of love. This is Mao Mao's love language, act of service. She is looking for a solution. She's problem solving and she's thinking about Xiaolan's request in a very, very sincere manner. That's beautiful to see. Again, their friendship is so endearing.
それ
他に頼れそうな人。
おお止水
My intrusive thoughts about Shishui being potentially Luolan has been plaguing my mind since the beginning of the episode, and Shishui just comes up. Someone watching me, dude? What is going on? The writer, did you plant a brain chip in my mind? But look at this. Yo, Kent, can you pull up a side-by-side image of Shishui and Luolan right now? Right here, side-by-side comparison with their hair colors and eye colors. I mean, but I get it. Luolan is known as the courtesan of 1,000 different faces, but her vibe is so different. Looking at her, it's like, is she Luolan? But again, going back to that ghost story episode, her ability to switch on, that sharpness, that intellectual, analytical aspect, her ability to code switch, and also show off such a different side of her, man, I feel very conflicted. All right, I need more data. And yes, Luoman, I am speaking on conjecture, widely so. Please forgive me.
ねえいい何の話もうすぐ年季が明けるから仕事探してるんだあるといえばあるかも作りに行くというか
Shishui says she knows where to make connections. What does that say? Networking. Is this episode about employment insecurity or job insecurity and networking? Interesting. Okay. Oh, bathhouse. Oh, bathhouse. Is there networking places for ladies in waiting? Because this is where all the core ladies, right, which is the female officers and secretaries equivalent and higher, and concubines come. Because everyone needs to take a bath. Why is the field of cosmetics, why is the world of cosmetics are worth billions and billions of dollars? Everyone have a skin. Everyone, right, needs skincare. Here, everyone needs to bath because everyone needs to shower. This is the perfect networking opportunity. This is the perfect place to network. Dude, again, how does Shisho know this? As a mere lady in waiting, how does she understand the importance of social capital? She's not an intellectual. Seemingly, as a lady in waiting, she cannot be educated. But the concept of social capital, the concept of networking, this is way beyond her pay grade. This is literally and metaphorically, this is way beyond her realm and scope of competency and scope of understanding. How does she know this? Is she Luolan? What is going on? Dude, this is further substantiating my hypothesis and my theory that obviously we've known Shisho is not who she says she is. And I feel like she is Luolan because only a fellow concubine, I said that, concubine knows where other concubines gossip, talk, spill the tea, speaking of tea-loving Xiaolan, right? You guys see are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? I know you guys have seen this, right? Oh my gosh, dude. Bathhouse. That makes sense. Fascinating.
まだこの時間だと人少ないね
湯をたっぷり使った湯殿は高級ならではの贅沢なものだ。
Hella.
には数百人が一度に浸かれる。
Over 1,000 people can come in, and the huge bathhouse can accompany hundreds of people. Again, that's literally social capital. And the amount of information exchange, amount of information that can go back and forth within this networking place is massive. In other words, the chance of Xiaolan obtaining and inquiring new job opportunities before her 6-month term ends is very, very high. So in that sense, even if this episode seems chill and slow, and maybe seems like a friendship episode, it's actually not. This is about social survival. This is about female networking. This is about job insecurity. This is about the classism struggle for those who do not have the privilege of wealth and influence. So in that sense, Shisho is the bridge that allowed to make this happen. But again, her bridge making ability, her information about this, her access to such information that even Mao Mao didn't know. It's way beyond what she's capable of knowing if she were just a mere servant girl working in the laundry area. Dude, I'm doubling down on my theory. I think she's Luolan. Who else has all those features and everything analyzed?
上級妃はそれぞれの宮の中に専用の浴場
Oh,
を持
that
ってい
makes
る。
sense. Okay.
この建物にあるのは大浴場だ。6畳間の浴場を当たり前のように使ってたけど、
Such a different
庶民は
scale.
水で体を拭くくらいだ。
Yeah, for sure.
止水
Bro, it's like piping hot. Oh my goodness. Because obviously, as you guys may know, I mean, you guys probably know, right? In Korean, especially Japanese and Chinese culture, bathhouse, public bath is a huge, huge cultural component. And it is amazing. It's like a spa house, right? You go in there for a reset. It's amazing. I know the nudity aspect turns off a lot of Westerners, but I think that's please do not judge me. I think in that aspect, a lot of the Westerners aspects are uncultured, relatively speaking, because bathhouse is a tradition of thousands and thousands of years old, historically speaking and culturally speaking. And of course, the West is relatively young, infancy stage, mere 400 or 500 years. That's nothing and impales in comparison to thousands and thousands of rich history, right? Again, this is not a diss against the West. It's rather the cultural differences. And even some of my Westerner friends, like white friends specifically, of course, many of them have never gone to a spa or a bathhouse before. But once they do, they absolutely love it. And by the way, you don't have to go to a fully nudity ones. There are options where you can keep your underwear on, right? Etc., etc. And it is amazing. It is truly a full body somatic release. Anyway, the point is, when we go into these hot bath, because there's hot bath and there's cold bath, there's variations and it's like a cuisine. It is amazing. Strongly recommend for those who are interested in. It is amazing.
ああ、早い時間のお風呂は
Yeah, dude.
あるでしょ。だんだん冷めいつもはもっと遅い。
Right there. I know Mama is examining Shisho's anatomical structure, her anatomy, her sizable fruits. What I'm focusing on is what Shisho just said. Think again. Oh my gosh, dude. Again, I know this could be a cognitive bias because I had this impression planted since the beginning of the episode, making conjecture that Shisho might be Luolan. So everything I'm speaking of is based on that conjecture and that framework and that foundation. So if I'm wrong, everything I'm speaking of is wrong. I 100% acknowledge that, and it is a cognitive bias. But hey, it is what it is, right? Here's my wildly baseless canon. Shisho just said that, oh, I didn't know that. I usually come later. That's sus. Because what servant girls have the luxury to come to a bathhouse at night? They should be working. Secondly, even Xiaolan said that, oh yeah, it's going to be hot. It's too early. What does that say? That the water is piping hot at this earlier hour is a common knowledge among the servant girls, to a point that the knowledge is so common such that even Xiaolan knows. That means Mao Mao also knew. That's why Mao Mao is very calmly pouring cooler water to help Shisho to cool down. So who is the only person among three of them who did not know that water is going to be this piping hot? Shisho. In other words, per my conjecture, sorry, Luomen, she is not a servant girl. She is Luolan. This makes sense.
何？もうもう。
いや
Bro.
見てんの？
Yo.
せで
Yeah.
止水。
Just a habit of mine. Just a habit of mine. Oh my gosh.
ダメだよ。湯船に入る前に。
Another one. Xiaolan say, come on, Shisha, you need to wash up. Remember, if there were servant girls, they need to clean themselves and do all these hygiene protocols and all these things before they enter. Because again, these bathhouses are meant for concubines, not for servant girls. Even if they have the privilege to access this when it's not as busy, they have to wash them up first because they're servants. Yet, Shisha's instincts was to jump straight in. What does that say? She's used to not cleaning up before entering. She's used to being served. She's not used to being acting as a servant girl at all times, especially in such a vulnerable and intimate spaces like bathhouse. Again, if Xiao Lan knows such basic protocols, why didn't Shishe? The plausible answer is she's not a servant girl. She's one of the 4 upper first rank concubines. Luolan, a woman of 1,000 faces. Holy crap, y'all. I'm flabbergasted. Oh, such a great friendship episode though, speaking of.
もう私もそれちょうだい。
どうぞ。
Dude, Shisha with her hair down? Now she looks more like Luolan. Oh my gosh. All right, guys, mark my words. Right here, right now, I'm confirming my theory. Shisho is Luolan. There it is. I said it. Luoman, you can criticize me afterwards if I'm dead wrong.
何それ。
医局にあった洗髪剤シャオランも使っ
Shampooing? Yo, close your eyes. Aww. I was about to say, that's what Lee Haku will do. What the? Yo, Shisho, you good? What are you doing?
かな。そう気持ちいいのに。
シャオランは農村育ちで熱い湯につ
That makes sense.
治水つてっていうのは
あ、そうだった。こっちこっち。ダメだってば。こっちは妃専用だよ。入っていいの？
Wait, this area is for the concubines. Brethren. Brother man. Yo.
大丈夫。入っていいし、つてはこの先にあるんだから。
This is the confidence of Luolan.
あはんなるほどね
失礼します。あら、新入り？はい、よろしくお願いします。これ、こういうね。少し強めにお願い。わかります。
Oh my gosh, Shisho, you're so freaking smart. So smart. Dude, I want to start calling her Luolan straight up. Again, another classic example of information asymmetry. Asymmetry of information means one side has more information than the other side. This is what Shisho / Luolan represents. This is not the type of information that any ladies in waiting, any servant girls, any laundry girls could have access to. It's just not possible. These are gated information. Yet Shisho knows because she's Luolan. And here, a level deeper, she even knows what concubines need. Even Mao Mao did not know this. Why? Because Mao Mao does not get oil massages, and she's not a concubine at the end of the day, despite her uncovered, right, high status. Yet Shisho knows because she's Luolan, and I'm sure she's come here before to get massages and other spa treatments. So here, her strategy is to disguise as a massage girl, masseuse, and coming here offering massage services to other concubines. And this is the networking, gossiping, eavesdropping, opportunities. This is it. So impressive. And this makes sense. This type of intelligence, social intelligence, astute nature, again, that information asymmetry, all this suggests that Shisho is probably Luolan. Mind-boggling, dude. This is crazy.
シャオラン これ
One more thing, y'all. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm dead wrong. It's all these things are clicking now. Starting from the introduction of Luolan, it makes sense why Luolan seldomly speaks. It makes sense that the writer is minimizing Luolan from speaking. She's trying to cover up all these behavioral cues, speech patterns, and all these other micro expressions and micro aspects about who she is, so that they can introduce her alter ego, her alternative personality, Shishio. Shishio's introduction has to be introduced through Luolan's minimization of, again, her giveaway. That's why Luolan's always been very stoic, expressionless, barely speaks. So the audience cannot pick it up on all these things. Yo, am I on the bar or what? Let's go.
じゃあ失礼します。
Goosebumps. Oh.
お手つきがあれば嫌がらせを警戒して見ず知らずの下女に体を触らせたりは
Wow. Yo, but Mama's freaking attention to detail. Wow. At the end of the day, Shishio slash Luolan is impressive, but this is Mama's world, baby. This is why Mama won the most popular Best MC of 2025. Man, so impressive. Were those hair?
見てきたから細かいことが気になるんだよな。戻りました。
Hair trimming.
で毛を絡めてるんです。
Wow. This is true A1 full body spa treatment. Wow. Even hair treatments. Yo, I hope they start a new business. Be an entrepreneur and make it rain, dude. Reckon that dollars. This is amazing, dude. Wow, Mama. You need to trademark this.
お試しになりますか？うん。痛います。
Wow.
とりあえず様子
Yo.
次はいつ入るの？
Yo.
しょうか。
When are you coming this? Their services are not being demanded. And again, the seed of networking has been planted and they've officially created official invitation and entry back to this concubine only bathhouse. And again, all of this is your gesture of friendship, act of service in response to Xiaolan's anxiety of employment, anxiety of survival. Now they're in. They're officially in. Oh my gosh, dude. This is insane. This episode's wild.
あさってあたりでしょうか。
Wow. Yo, Xiaolan has no idea. Mama's picked it up right away. So Mama knows exactly why they're doing this. Xiaolan, the main character of this friendship scenario and friendship episode, she has no idea. She's oblivious. And again, that's not a diss against Xiaolan. That makes sense. Because that is a I guess, appropriate portrayal of someone like her who is not educated, a lowly class. She doesn't understand social capital, social intelligence, and all these things. She doesn't understand. That is how a regular, average servant girls would act. But of course, Shishio is not average because she's not really a servant girl.
なるほど。こうやって普段を
Yep. See, Mama gets it.
これが止水の言ってたつてか。
Yep.
ね。
Yo.
この間までやってた女官が年季明けて辞めちゃったとこなんだ。
へえ、止水よく知っ
I see, Shisha, you know a lot. Yeah, I wonder why. Mama, let's see. Let's see if our brain waves and brain frequencies sync eventually, because we usually do.
その女官は中級妃の一人に気に入られて、そのつてで今は妃の実家で働いてるんだって。そっか、そういうこともあるんだ。こう
Now
い
she
う
gets it.
使わない櫛とか首飾りをくれることもあるよ。
Aww.
よければ高く売れるからね。
止水は抜け目ないな。下女が湯殿を使えるのは2日に1度。 害するなんて本にゃん様になんて言われるか。
Yo, Mamao's speaking of fear of survival, Mamao's survival instinct kicks in. What would Hongyang think? Yo, I'm dead. That's Hongyang PTSD right there. I am dead. So funny. Aww.
まあ湯殿でマッサージを。
はい。知り合いの下女の付き合いで。
Yo, Lady Gyokyu doesn't mind. And of course, Mamao's obviously she's very loyal. And that's why she's still reporting what she's doing. But of course, she was right. Hongyang is not pleased. The flames of Hongyang is burning.
ダメですよね。はい。わかってます。
あら、いいじゃないの、ほんにゃん。玉葉様。ああいう場では気が緩んで、思わぬ話が飛び出すものよ。宮中の
Wow.
噂話とか。マオマオ、面白い話があったらぜひ聞かせてね。
Mama, please let me know if you hear something interesting. Remember, Lady Hongyang's not really interested in gossips. The only gossips that Lady Gyokyu's interested in, what is it? Jim Mao, baby. The only reality TV show. The only gossips Lady Gyokyu likes to hear is Jim Mao. That aside, she doesn't care. She's too busy. Here, Lady Gyokyu, again, she's so astute. She's sensed an opportunity to gather important, guarded intel. Speaking of information asymmetry, she wants to minimize the potential gap of any information asymmetry in her life, especially because she's pregnant, the secrecy, and again, how cutthroat and dangerous the rear arena is as a political arena. Did I say rear arena? Rear palaces as political arena. 2 levels. Level 1, Lady Gyokyu knows that for Mama to do this, for her acquaintance of hers, she knows that it must be endearing friends. And Mama never make requests. Mama never ask for things. So that's 1. So Lady Gyokyu knows that this is very important to Mama. Level 2, within this request, she senses opportunity. Brilliantly so. That's why she's saying what she's saying. Amazing. But of course, Hongyang's like, oh my gosh, Lady Gyokyu, you're so nice. But I'm sure Hongyang would understand too.
だそうです。
さすが玉葉様。止水並みに抜け
Yep,
目
she
がない。
understands. She understands social intelligence, baby. She gets it. It's not just networking. It's intel gathering. Brilliant.
確
This
かに
episode is amazing.
ここではご解任の噂はとうに広まってい
Oh,
る。
wow.
男か女か、いつ生まれるのかというところまで噂さ
Wow.
れている。
Wow.
だけど、それ以上に気になるのは、ローラン妃も解任しているのでは。
だらって思
What?
うのよね。いっつも奇抜な服を着てるじゃない。でも最近。
But recently, she hasn't been out much because she's freaking disguising and role playing as she show. I mean, maybe she's pregnant. That would be freaking nuts. But you see, because even concubines, especially the ones who are not visited often by the emperor, they're bored. They have plenty of time. They're stressed. Why are they stressed? Because their future status, their wealth, influence, all that is predicated on the emperor's visitation in their future pregnancy. So there is what, hundreds of concubines, mid-level concubines, who are not being visited by the emperor. So what do? Gossip. They're sharing, they're venting, they're talking to each other, right? This is the power of social relationships. And all those are precious, valuable intel. That's what Lady Gyokyu was saying. And she is right. Mama was hearing that, oh wow, the secrecy of Lady Gyokyu's pregnancy is already widespread. Even Lady Li Hua's pregnancy is being speculated. Mama would have never learned about this. Lady Gyokyu would have never learned about this without this opportunity. That is social capital. That is information.
ことが多いらしいから。
ローラン妃が来て半年。帝も通わないわけにはいかない。そうなると、上級妃4人のうち3人がご解任か。
Wow, that'll be
めでたいという
nuts.
かぶ
ねえ。
It's a case of celebration and huge headache because I mean, speaking of cutthroats, nothing is more cutthroat and deadly than ascending to the throne. And if there are multiple sons, multiple princes, this is when brothers literally kill each other to become the king, become the emperor. Wow.
はい。あー、すっごく気持ちいい。あなた、次はいつ？
Yo.
はい、あさってです。
Aww. So is Xiaolan's future employment secured? Ah, happy for you.
それともう一つ、ここの噂話でよく聞くのが。
Oh, what is it?
お、あそこにいるかな？
What?
一人かっこいいカンカンが入ったんだって。見てみたいな。
どっかで聞いたような話。
There's another good-looking eunuch. That was the beginning of the episode with the ominous background music. Yo, my brains are freaking firing like crazy. And I'm telling you, that chiseled jawline, the side face, the hair was the same face as the side glare assassin that I've noticed right away from that bar scene many episodes ago. And the only other person who we've known that obviously was that side glare assassin was Sui Rei. And another beautiful eunuch. Beautiful? Bro, did freaking Sui Rei found her way back into the real palace? Officially as a beautiful eunuch? Yo, this is an episode of Disguise. If my conjecture were to be correct, right? Alright, let's see.
噂で聞いたんだよね。新しいカンカンが30人も増えたんだって。
新しいって、もう宦官になる手術はやってないんじゃなかった？
元奴隷だよ。奴隷？もうこの国にはいないんじゃないの？異民族の奴隷だと思う。他国の人間を虚勢して奴隷にするところもあるんだって。
Very
こ
common.
こから逃げ出したか助け出されたか。30人もいるってことは大規模な討伐でもあったんだろうね。
シスイって虫にしか興味なさそうに見えて結構賢い。
Shishay seems like she only cares about insects, but is actually quite smart. Because she's Luolan. Yo.
お風呂の
Mama's
役
picking it up.
新人の宦官の仕事だよね。でもかっこいいんでしょ？まあ、ジンシ様ほどじゃないと思うけどね。どうしたのママを？
別に。
Mama was like, oh gosh, he's not a eunuch. He's got sizable nuts and a massive sized toad and frog. That's why her shoulder plumped. She's like, oh gosh, don't remind me. My wall of denial is crumbling slowly. It's breaking down.
そういえば、マオマオってジンシ様とよく一緒に。
の使い。
Yo, as soon as I talked about sizable nuts and massive sized toad, Mama looked at her hands. Oh my gosh, Mama. Only if they knew.
マオマオ？
考えるな。あれはカエル。カエル。
Yo, dude, Mama's a savage and she's rubbing her hand against her clothes. God, Mama, why are you dissing Jinshi like that, man? You don't gotta roast him like this. Jinshi doesn't deserve this level of disrespect. Come on, Mama. Yo, this is awesome. Oh, long time no see.
なんでリーシュ様が？
It's been a while. Oh no, the triplet sisters.
なんか睨まれている気がする。休憩中ですし、お召し上がりになられては。
I wrote their names down. Haku, Seku, and Koku? I already forgot who's who.
質問があるんだけど。
They're so calm.
あなたどういう経緯で翡翠宮に仕えているの？
どうと言わ。
They're so calm.
人手不足の翡翠宮に毒味として使わされただけですが。
それは聞いたわ。私が知りたいのは、なぜ疑り深い玉葉があなたを信頼しているかということよ。
Yo, straight to the point. Yo, what is this, interrogation? What is this, freaking FBI's back office? Yeah,
つ
that's...
い呼び捨てにするほど仲が良かったのか。だったら。
Oh, so this is loyalty. They're really, really, really loyal to Lady Gyokyu. That's amazing, by the way, right? Again, every lady in waiting that Lady Gyokyu has is carefully, selectively handpicked. That's why it's a smaller size, despite the expansion. Because of, obviously, Master Shishio's flex with Luolan. But here, everyone is carefully vetted. That's why it's very, very appropriate and understandable for them to ask, like, why is she trusting you so much? And it's very clear they're extremely intimate. Mao Mao and Lady Gyokyu, right?
そばにいる怪しい女官が気になるのも当然だ。私はただの毒味役です。もし玉葉様に毒が盛られたら私が先に死にます。
Not true.
そういう役割のものと割り切っていただければよろしいかと。
Mao Mao's denial, minimization, right? It's not true, but this is her diaries after all.
聞いてはいたけど本当にさっくりした性格に。
ありがとうございます。
Yo, thank you.
外にお友達が多いようだけど、ほどほどにしてもらいたいわ。慣れない高級で、先輩の女官がよそにばかり行っていたら寂しくなるじゃない。特にうちの末っ子の石油とあなたは同い年なんだから。
確かに最近はシスイやシャオランとつるんでばかりだ。毒味役がフラフラしてたら不審に思われるよな。でしたら
But of course, unknown to the triplet sisters, obviously Lady Gyokyu already knows, Hongyang knows, and this has been approved. Again, this is above their pay grade, but of course, the oldest sister, I guess she has the right to voice her concerns. Again, speaking of information asymmetry, they don't know. Do you see the power and the importance of information and what happens when there's a gap of information? Fascinating. There's so many different concepts in this episode. It's wild.
今日湯殿に一緒に行きませんか。
湯殿いいかもね。石油もたまには私たち以外の子と付き合った方がいいわよ。白姉様、湯殿に行くのはよく。
Haku. Okay, Haku is the oldest sister. Okay. Noted.
白様の命もあってなんでしょ。
Oh, she
そうですね。
knows.
国姉様、仕事と思って行ってらっしゃい。
Aww. Yo. Seku is not used to a public bath hall like this, and maybe she's just shy, right? This is a new experience, and any new experience implies change, and change is uncomfortable for everyone, no matter the size.
それは
Aww. Yo.
害はありません。多分。
Mostly.
今日はそんなに大変じゃないよ。他にもマッサージやる子が増えたんだよ。
うまく隠してたってことか。
Wow. Gatekeeper.
石油様、着替えないので。
Yo. Oh gosh. So I talked about the cultural differences between the West and like the East. But here, remember I talked about China is freaking massive, huge. So even within China, the same dynasty, different regions, different dialects, different provinces have different cultures, right? So it makes sense that she's not used to it. Again, it's not good or bad. Cultural differences means just that. It's just different, you know? Not one's better or worse. It's just different and you have to be used to it. But cultural differences also implies opportunity for growth, new experiences, widening our horizon, right? It's beautiful.
中ではこれでも暑いよ。おお、十分立派じゃない。
Yo.
これは敵に回したぞ。
そんな
Yo.
に恥ずかしがってこれまでどうしてたの？
For real.
ねそして宮の湯殿を借りてるの。西の国は砂漠地帯であまり弱みの習慣ないし。
Oh, I see.
まあ、恥じらう余裕もなくなりますよ。
And that makes sense because the idea of public indecency or indecent exposure is very deeply ingrained in the Chinese culture, especially in the dynasty era. So that makes sense. It's also, aside from the cultural differences, it's also a social and cultural conditioning and norms for especially a girl to not overly expose their body parts and so forth. So that makes sense too.
脱毛終わりました。こういうお願いします。石油様。
石油様、こちらも。はい。
Oh, it's busy. They're hustling.
塗りたくることくらいできますよね。
塗りたくるの。
はい。鶏肉のように塗りたくってください。
Do it like she's a slice of chicken meat? Mao Mao. Oh, I don't know what to say, Mama. Oh my gosh, dude. Every human, males or like guys or girls, to her just body parts. Like how she described herself in the cave waterfall episode with Master Jinshi. What did she say? Her set of ribs, her rib cages. I almost choked. My goodness, dude.
緩んで口が軽くなりますから。
わかった。
This is some covert spy operation. Lower their guard?
ああ、揉みますね。
Look at how serious Aseko looks. She's so sincere while Shaolan and Shishi, they're like more casual. They're used to it. They're like the veteran now. They're very seasoned. Another day of hard work. Oh?
上級妃がこっちの湯殿にわざわざ来たら周りが萎縮するんじゃ。
Ow!
大丈夫ですか？
Oh, I bet the Li Shu's here because she's a higher upper first rank, which means they have their own bathhouse. The fact that she's coming here means there's negligence. Her ladies in waitings are not serving her properly. That's why she's only here with one. The loyal one after that food tasting incident in season 1. This means Li Shu's been neglected. Oh, poor girl. Oh
あ
no.
あああ。もっと使える事情はいないのかと思ったけど。
Yep.
あれなら萎縮されないか。リーシュ妃は弱い15で上級妃と言っても帝は
Yeah.
どうぞ。
ありがとうございます。
化け物を見るような目で。
Yo, speaking of Mao Mao's Hongyang PTSD, entire Crystal Pavilion struggles with Mao Mao PTSD.
I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
I am dead, yo.
少しは慣れてほしいんだけど。
Oh,
カミソリ負けしてる。
oh negligence.
リーシュ様。新しい脱毛法試してみませんか？
Nice. Yo, Mamo's confidence. Speaking of sizable nuts, no one in this show has bigger nuts than Mamo. The audacity. Man, this is her world. We're just living in it.
伝わってください。
Amazing.
リーシュ妃、どうして上級妃がこんなところに？
安心してください。
Look at Mamo's face. Yo. Oh gosh. Good.
お疲れ様。ありがとう
At least she needs some relaxation too. Oh, beautiful sky. See? She's more relaxed now.
みんなあんまり細かいこと
Oh,
は気にしませんし
negligence.
その前は出血
Crystal Pavilion has been the pavilion of slaps, triple slaps to be exact, the slaps that run across the multiverse. But the real place that deserves some slapping and some course correction is Li Shu's palace or pavilion. Those freaking ladies in waiting, they deserve some serious slapping. And of course, I'm a pacifist, no violence permitted and endorsing. But, you know, for the sake of my point here, they need some serious just mistreating and even abusing such an innocent little girl, Lady Li Shu, who is merely a 15-year-old. Man, so sad.
ああ、そうか。リーシュ妃は幼い頃。なって出家した後にまた妃にされて後宮に戻ってきた。よくよく考えるとかわいそうな身の上だな。
It's very cruel. And shout out to the emperor. I think he only took her back in because of her tragedy. And obviously she was almost nearly being groomed by the late emperor who had pedophilia with obviously, as I analyzed the sexual abuse, different type of abuses and so on. And again, late emperor's trauma does not excuse what he did. It's still a horrible, horrible thing, right? Period. Here, emperor took her back in, I think, to protect her family and all that, so she is not mistreated. Because as you know, once you belong to the emperor, you belong to the emperor forever, and she will never get married. No one will dare to touch Li Shu. even when she becomes of age ever again. So this is all part of the protection. Kind of like what the Emperor did for Lady Ado. Also, shout out to Lady Ado. I hope you're doing well out there.
元は毒味役の彼女が次女頭になってよかったのかもしれん。
Yep.
ありがとう。
Aww.
よかったらお礼に冷たいジュースでも。やったー。
Yo, Seku's like, oh my gosh, like Mao Mao's so good. She was like, speaking of flabbergasted, she's also flabbergasted. She's like, wow, this is the power and the charisma of Mao Mao. Just casually talking to one of the 4 upper first rank concubines. So chill, so casual, so charismatic. This is Mao Mao's world, baby. Now Seku knows.
ところで、リエシュ様はどうして大浴場にいらしたんですか？金剛宮にも湯殿があるはずでは。
それは
Definitely negligence.
テルの
Wait, what? Something's there? Yo, is this about another ghost story? What is going on, dude? What is going on? Is there actually paranormal activities and elements in this show? Yo, what is going on?
あのミアの湯殿には
It's haunted? Oh! Scare me.
幽霊が
Oh. What is going on, dude? So bizarre. Dude, what a freaking cliffhanger. Wow, dude, I yapped for an hour. All right, my main takeaway from this episode is obviously information is power. And I think this episode really depicted that in a very, very powerful way. And my final theory and confirmation, I'm going to die on this hill. I'm going to die on the hill of Shisho is Luolan. Boom. Thank you guys for tuning. As always, remember, you matter, you're worthy, and I do mean that every time when I say it. Say it. And I hope to see you again in the next week's episode. Until then, peace.